Perusing the internet for opinions about Hazbin Hotel, I have come across nothing but hate. So I suppose it falls to me to say that season 2 of Hazbin Hotel has elevated the show to the show of the decade. Compared to Hazbin Hotel, Breaking Bad is old news. Pioneers are emerging in the modern world of serialized content, okay? Webtoons are rotting our brains out at an unprecedented rate. The bounds of creative horror are being pushed by TikTok My Little Pony infection AUs. And in the midst of all of this, Hazbin Hotel rises as a pillar of excellence that dares to do away with the old and reinvent the wheel. So today, with me as your guide, you will learn to see Hazbin Hotel's artistic genius in a new light that'll leave these so-called classics sandblasted. Starting, of course, with
You've gone ass up, your Jeep cried, your last luck has run dry.
Something that's always bothered me about Breaking Bad is the fact that their characters have consistent mental ages that, make sense for someone of that character's background. Walter White acts sanely and maturely all the time, which, if I'm gonna be honest, is a little bit boring, but it was what I was used to. It wasn't until I watched Hazbin Hotel that I realized this doesn't have to be the case. When Charlie, after months of concentrated effort trying to reform sinners, just now realizes
maybe what he did redeemed his own sin.
I think that's how Christianity works. Like, even if she didn't know this due to her living a sheltered life, any person, any sinner who was alive on earth and knew the concept of confessing your personal sins for atonement would maybe clue her in. Which means that Charlie must have just ignored all of these voices up until this point. On top of that, let's accept an interview on the terms of the people who have been slandering us and hope really hard that nothing goes wrong. I'm fairly sure she wasn't this dumb last season, but hey, that's the spice of life, right? Finally, we have characters whose intelligence jump up and down like a sine wave between seasons. This is exactly what I always hoped for in my TV shows. I also really love this battle of wits that Alastair and Vox has going on. Usually in shows like Breaking Bad, characters try to hide things from each other and they all have these little intricate motives and they try to convince other people to do things in subtle ways, but that was just a little too hard for me to understand. So I really appreciate this new direction that Hazbin Hotel Season 2 takes, where Alastair manipulates Vox by saying, "Wow, I bet you don't have the guts to do this incredibly random and suspicious thing." And then Vox just does that thing out of spite. Instead of one person doing a smart thing, the other person doing a smarter thing, and then the first person doing an even smarter thing, Hazbin Hotel uses the revolutionary method of reversing that. Having one person do a stupid thing, then the other person doing something even more stupid, then the first person topping it off with something so stupid you couldn't have even guessed it in a million years. Both of you were smart enough to become serial killers and rise through the ranks in your respective careers. So in what world did you think that would work? And in what world does it actually work? Anyway, that's super awesome. It's just what I wanted, to have my intelligence insulted by my adult animated comedy show. One of the major issues that plague Breaking Bad is its adherence to, frankly, inside-the-box design choices. Exhibit 1. See how Mr. White here has a middle-aged high school chemistry teacher in the late 2000s actually dresses like a middle-aged chemistry teacher in the late 2000s? No. Where's the creativity? Where's the innovation? Where's the part of you that dares to color outside the lines? Hazbin Hotel answers all these imperfections and more. Take a look at Alastair, for example, a man who died in 1930s Louisiana when men walked around looking like this. Obviously, Alastair, being a man who's defined by an attachment to tradition, shatters our preconceptions of who he is by looking nothing like this. No part of this character design screams 1930s Louisiana, and boy, isn't that the best thing I've ever seen! Let's see, Husk died in the 1970s, Vox died in the 1950s, Angel Dust died in 1947. And by the way, all of the above information is coming to you from random bios posted on Twitter and live Q&As, which just makes the show more riveting. I love doing homework just to understand what the hell is happening. All these people from different sides of 100 years all share the same exact fashion sensibilities. Bow ties, top hats. Don't you love it when character design tells you nothing about who the characters are, much less what time period they're from? Are your expectations subverted yet? Do you feel grateful yet that the character designs for the entire show are built off of the bones of Vimsy Pop's Tumblr OCs?
Speed round.
What in the world is wrong with Hazbin Hotel's power scaling? Why does Rosie of all people have the power to make another random sinner the most powerful sinner in hell? Why does Vox suddenly become the most powerful sinner in hell despite this deal only because Charlie said so?
Actually, Vox's power is uniquely tied to his popularity rating.
No, the fuck it isn't. Since when? Who told you this? Even if you somehow got this information from a live Q&A stream 2 years ago, why would Vox's power just randomly work differently? Really love the fact that Loot got gravity in episode 2 and nothing else. Also, what is this self-referential bullshit when Alistair said,
When you lose your marbles in Act 3.
I paused and laughed to myself because wouldn't that be so cliche? Wouldn't that be so typical? There's no way the writers would spoil the ending of a show as a one-off joke. Right? Did we actually just defeat Vox using the fucking My Little Pony power of friendship? Did we run out of ideas? Are we trying to subvert expectations and make self-referential jokes by using a cliche ending in an over-the-top manner? Well, guess what? Sometimes an over-the-top cliche is just an over-the-top cliche. Hazbin Hotel is objectively bad on many levels. There, I said it. I'm sorry it's come to this, because having been a fan of the pilot, having waited alongside the fandom for the first season, I wanted this show to be good. I desperately wanted to like what I saw. I wanted to be able to say this show is better than, well, maybe not Breaking Bad, but I wanted this show to hold up. It has such a disgustingly good premise, but what it had in idealism, it lacked in texture, in details, in build-up, in the ability to actually tell a story. And don't get me wrong, not all of these issues are Vimsy Pop's fault. The original pitch for Hazbin Hotel had included at least 9 episodes, probably more, which would have just given the show more space than it has now to breathe, explore, and make its world come alive. Vivsy has also confirmed that if there was just more airtime this season, we would have gotten banter between the Vs. I'm not saying this would have automatically made the show better or fixed it. Hell of a Boss is a bit of a hot mess as well, but maybe it would have had more of a chance. If not for who we all love to hate, Amazon Prime. It's curious you stopped by, pulled by my rage bait hook, when what was here instead was my personal crash out nook. We viewers do not need ND, we need somebody with net worth. The same old fucking despot and no respite from shows getting worse. Seasons of 8 episodes as streaming platforms all demand. Let's place the future of animation in Jeff Bezos' caring hands. Let's unravel cause we won't flip the script and trust our entertainment to companies who don't give a shit. We should just let Amazon run these ships. Watch their stocks take off and fly as they trample human rights, cause as we all know, corporate greed is fertilizer for artistry. They got the dough, they got the power, they got the means to own your life. If you're really fucking stupid, then you've only got one choice. Hail Jeff Bezos, populi, the people's voice.